So welcome all to this 10th episode of the Enrich Your Coffee series. I think it's the 10th episode of season 4. And this episode, this coffee session, I hope you all have your cups with you. I've got mine here. It's dedicated to getting to know about the pilot brokerage events, which are organized by associate members. In Enrich, part of Work Package 4 is the organization of pilot brokerage events in which we are going to test the strategies developed in the strategy work package, which is Work Package 3. And we have a series of brokerage events. Some of them are organized by Enrich members, and others, like these, which are going to be presented today, are organized by Enrich associates. So in the summer of last year, we opened a call, and we are very happy to have closed the call with a selection of 5 industry events, which I think have a nice mix of ESFRI domains, because we have, and also not only ESFRI domains, but also interesting roles as a supplier and as a user and as a co-creator, I believe. We have a couple of events dealing with physical sciences, social sciences and humanities, marine biology, and structural. And the outcomes of the events will provide good feedback to the strategy developed in Enrich. So now you each have 5 minutes for your presentations. So maybe it's time to have the group photo now, I guess.
Yes, this is an excellent time to grab your cups and turn on your cameras if you wish. If you don't wish to be featured on our Twitter feed, then feel free to keep your cameras closed. But yeah, so those who have cups ready, let's have a picture. All right, 1, 2, 3. And oh, sorry, let me take one more.
Someone was closing his eyes.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So now let's start with the presentations. In the first place, we have Clarin and Daria. I'm not sure if I'm saying it correctly, representing the SSH domain, social sciences and humanities, and they are organizing an event called SSH Research Infrastructures as interfaces between research, industry, and non-academic partners. And here are Francesca Morselli and Juliana van der Leck to present the event.
Hi, can you see my slides? Can you hear me well also? Perfect.
Yes, both.
Yes, perfect, Francesca.
Yeah, great. Thanks a lot. And thanks a lot for having us here today and gives us the chance to briefly introduce the project that we were granted. I'm Francesca Morselli and I work for Daria Eric, and I'll be presenting this with Juliana van der Leck. She will introduce herself in a second. And just a couple of words on this project. This project is quite dear to us, especially because it was born as a collaboration. So with collaboration between Daria and Clarin, but also collaboration with other research infrastructure in the social science and humanities domain, which actually will be involved in the event itself. And the idea of this event emerged from the realization that there is a huge need to discuss collaboration from the perspective of social science and humanities, not only with the industry, but also with a broader audience that we call not academic partners. So that's a bit to explain the title. But let's look at a moment at Daria and Clarin, and I give the word to Juliana.
Yes, hello everybody. I'm happy to be here today, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to organize this event. So I'm Juliana van der Leck, Training and Education Officer at Clarin, and also very interested in collaborating with the Clarin team, and of course with other research infrastructures to set up a nice framework for industry collaboration. A few words about Clarin, whom I'm sure you have already know. So it is an ESFRI It has an ERIIC status since 2012. It is a landmark since 2016. And we provide a platform for researchers from the humanities and social sciences to digital language data, advanced language technology tools, and everything can be accessed through a single sign-on environment. We also have about 70 centers that have their own expertise on data management and also various language technologies that are very relevant nowadays in the age of artificial intelligence. All these centers are the data centers are certified, which is of course very important for the quality, let's say, that we aim for, high quality. And recently we have a very nice demo, a pilot project of the European Open Science Cloud to integrate to test the integration of some of our services. Yes, and in total we have about 25 countries that are member and part of the consortium. Francesca.
Do you want to go through this?
Oh yes, sorry. It's a bit tricky to present to both of us. This is an overview of the Clarin services that we have already tried to, let's say, sell to the companies. So access to data modeling via the research infrastructure data portal, some of the distributed infrastructures nodes in the other countries have already experimented with building language models for language-based e-government services, collection and curation of language data. And then besides this data services, we also have, of course, products and applications that are important for automatic terminology extraction, summarization, and tools for preparation of legal documents, more for syntactic and grammatical tools, for training automatic speech recognition engines, and various semantic technologies. And of course, now, as of next year, I hope we will be able to organize also more events, training, and consultancy services.
Thanks, Juliana. So Daria was established as an ERIIC in 2014, and at the moment it counts 17 member countries and 11 cooperating partners in the non-member countries. And the mission is that to empower the arts and humanities research communities with digital methods and tools to create and connect new knowledge. Something has happened. Yes. So Daria builds on 4 main pillars in its activities. The first one is a marketplace to facilitate the exchange of tools, data, and services, create new knowledge and educational resources for the digital arts and humanities, new communities and creating the existing communities already with similar research interests and to work in a more collaborative way. And also we also, as a last but not least, we one of our pillar connects around the policies. So we participate in different international bodies like the Open Science platform, for example, to give a strong voice to the arts and humanities on the future of open science. Juliana, this is for you.
Yes. So the event, we aim to organize this event on either on the 4th or 11th of March. We still need to check with all the invited envisaged participants if they are available on one of these dates. Depending, of course, of the COVID situation, we of course aim to organize a face-to-face event in Utrecht, the Netherlands, at the Clarin premises. The format will consist of presentations and discussions, presentations in the morning and discussions in the afternoon. The afternoon discussions, we plan to make them as practical and hands-on as possible, really a brainstorming session around a flip chart. I really miss that in these times. And of course, we will also support online participation. So we envisage inviting representatives from non-academic partners, from public sector and the industry, and also for the research infrastructures in SSH domain, and other relevant networks. So it says that the European Holocaust research infrastructures and the European language grid, which is a platform for the language technology in Europe. And besides this, we just got an answer today that the European Language Resource Coordination, they are also very much interested in this event.
And so what is the aim of our event? So first of all, we aim to map the service offer of research infrastructure in the social science and humanities domain to the needs of the non-academic partners. And this is we are going to do it based on the experience of previous collaborations. And we also want to focus in particular on the service offer and on the skill that the social science and humanities research infrastructure staff will need in order to reach beyond academia. So like, for example, a different set of skills on communication, how we can translate, for example, the value of our research infrastructures toward values or for directing more to the public, to different stakeholders, both of them that can be public or private, for example.
Yes, so in the morning we will give an overall presentation on the current landscape, identify some challenges and opportunities for collaboration. We will focus on the status innovation. Innovation is a concept that I think many SSH infrastructures find challenging, let me put it that way. So I'm looking forward to have some nice discussions around this topic. In the afternoon, we will focus on the skills development, both for the people in the research infrastructures that communicate with industry partners and other non-academic partners. And we will try to identify the training needs and the gaps that we can fill in as far as skills and, of course, technology, the service offer is concerned. This slide contains just some ideas on the topics that we have identified so far, how to handle data in SSH and discuss issues around standards, ethics and bias, GDPR, and sensitive data, and of course, data management.
Yeah, thanks, Juliana. So this was all for us. We have a few resources here that maybe if you share the slide after the event, this meeting, Madison, maybe people can also have a look at the resources that we shared. That's all from us, actually.
Thank you.
And if you have any question, of course, we are available to answer. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Francesca and Juliana. I think it was very interesting, and also that some of the issues that you're going to raise can be transferable to other ESFRI domains, like the concept of innovation and the mapping of the needs and the services of PRI. So it will be very interesting to see your findings.
Yeah, thanks.
So next we have ENBRC, and the event is called ENBRC Clinic, Fostering ENBRC's Links with Industry. And we have Rita Costa, who is going to present, a communications manager at the Center of Marine Sciences, and she will give the presentation. So welcome, Rita.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Let me just find my presentation. Yeah. So, just a second. Okay, can you all see my slides? Okay, yes. So I'm here on behalf of the ENBRC. It's the European Marine Biological Resource Center, which, as you see from the background, is all marine related. So the ENBRC is an RI that provides access to marine organisms and to the cutting edge equipment and facilities that researchers and industry needs to study them. So the ENBRC has currently 45 sites across 9 member countries. And I'm talking to you from the southwestern corner there, from CESEMAR, which is a research center dedicated to marine sciences, of course. We're based in Faro. And we're also the coordinator of the Portuguese node of the ENBRC. We will be organizing this MBRC event for the whole network. Now, our project, the MBRC Clinic, is a pilot project. So we haven't actually done this type of approach before. It's designed to foster stronger links between the MBRC and industry players across Europe in the blue economy sector. So this is something that we've been struggling before, and that's why this opportunity to do this initiative is so important to us, because this is an activity that we actually need to do in a very short time. And how do we propose to do this? So from our past experience, we've had some barriers into engaging with industry. So a lot of these barriers can be are about communication. So it's kind of difficult for industry players to understand our scientific jargon for once. And also language can be a problem because we're so used to talking in English, but it doesn't mean that our industry players feel the same way. So in Portugal or in Spain or in other countries, I'm talking about in our neighborhoods, but there's more. So English is not always the best way to deal with industry. Also, there's some problems in terms of visibility, because when we target industry as a whole or the blue economy sector as a whole, people from specific sectors might not identify themselves with our advertising, because they might not understand that this is targeting their specific sector within the whole industry. So sometimes we're missing opportunities there. And another thing is that the application of the knowledge and technologies that we are communicating, what we are offering, is sometimes not it's not a linear process. Because you see, usually a tailored approach or even the co-creation of knowledge can be a better option, because it doesn't mean that our offering can be actually fitted into their needs or what they do in their business. So we're trying to overcome these barriers that we've seen before through a combination of targeted communication, RI to business online meetings, and mediated matching. This all means that we want to put the right people talking to each other. So that's basically it. And to do that, we are aiming for 5 steps. The first step in the MBRC clinic is called node engagement. So we are going to ask the other nodes of the MBRC to participate and to select up to 2 specific blue economy sectors to target. And when we do this, we will create a liaison officers committee that will coordinate all of this and ensure that we are targeting those right players. Then, let me see, industry engagement. When we decide who we're going to target, we are going to ask those players in each country. So each node is going to ask those players to participate in the MBRC clinic. When they do that, they will be asked to complete a small survey with a few questions that will enable us to understand their innovation needs. Then it will be based on those innovation needs that the liaison officers will mediate matchmaking between the industry participants and the people at the MBRC network who may offer them the most relevant services. So this is how we ensure that we are having the right people talking in these meetings. Then moving on to the event itself. It's going to be a 5-day online event organized through a standard business-to-business online matching platform. So there's plenty of that nowadays, especially with COVID and moving everything online. And we're all a little more familiar with that type of platform. And with that platform, we're going to do these MBRC clinics, RI to business meetings, where industry players will be able to meet with researchers from our network with competences to address their innovation needs. So because this is a pilot project, we also need to understand if it works or not. And if it works, we want to replicate it. So it will be important to do all this follow-up. all participants will be contacted after the MBRC clinic, and then 6 months after that to see if this was helpful and if these meetings set the grounds for future collaboration. And I would like to say here something. Even if future collaboration doesn't happen, and even if there's no future pilot project or contract research coming from these meetings, it's already helpful because it will help us understand the needs of industry, and this will help us devise better services for industry. So at the time, it's information that's very valuable for us. So main advantages. This is a proactive approach to industry. Instead of just the typical showcasing of capabilities, which is something that we've done before, and it didn't work out all that well, or it wasn't that fruitful. So all contacts are individual. We're not expecting to have a huge attendance in these events. We're actually aiming at a stronger engagement, a more deeper engagement with the short number of participants that we are targeting. And yes, we're going to dedicate and focus on the problems of each company, but nonetheless, the problems of a company will represent the problems of the whole sector. And so this will enable us to devise those services in view of their needs. And finally, it will also be a good opportunity for our liaison officers to meet and to work with each other, and also to strengthen their own collaboration with industry in their region. And that's it. This is what we are presenting and hoping to do. Thank you for the opportunity. I wish Professor Adelino was here. He wanted to be. He is the president of CCMA. But well, I'm presenting for him.
Thank you, Rita.
If you have any questions?
I think the presentation was excellent. I really like how you are going to listen to what industry needs. We have discussed this at length and enriched, so it's going to be very, very useful. So
Okay.
Thanks again. Next up is Michel Huebner, the Industry Liaison Officer for Switzerland. And we change the topic now. We change it to astronomy, and he's going to talk about ELT Instruments Industry Day. So Michel, the floor is yours. You have to unmute.
Okay, thank you, Xavier. Thank you to all of you for your participation, and thank you to ENRIITC for the support and the invitation. My name is Michel Huebner. I'm from the Swiss Industry Liaison Office in Lausanne, and I'm sharing this talk with my colleague from the Netherlands, from the Netherlands Institute for Astronomy, Mr. Ramon Navarro. So as you said, Javier, this is all about universe observation and optical telescopes. Currently, the ESO, the European Southern Observatory, with its 15 European member states, is building the largest optical telescopes worldwide. And to this telescope, we have to connect scientific instruments just to see the stars, to collect the data, and to process this data from the skies. It happens that these instruments, these scientific instruments, are not built by the organization itself. They are not built by the European Southern Observatory headquarters in Munich, but they are built from different consortia, totally spread out over the European territory. And this is a community of a few hundred people. So the idea was to, because of course these instruments are a concentration of technology, and the idea was, and also they procure a lot, and to build these instruments. And a laboratory is not a factory, so they purchase components from all the place. So the idea was to connect these procurement officers, these engineers of the labs to the industry. And this is the purpose of this event. We organized in Geneva on the 16th of February. For the second slide, I will let the floor to my colleague.
Hello, this
yes,
is Ramon Navarro
Ramon,
from the
go ahead.
Netherlands. Can you hear me? Yes?
Yep.
Okay, great. So indeed, as Michel said, while he's putting up slide number 2, ESO, the European Southern Observatory, is building the extremely large telescope. It's a telescope with a mirror with a diameter of 40 meters. So it's incredibly large. The building around this will be the size of a football stadium on the top of a mountain. And this is built by industrial contracts. However, the scientific instrumentation behind the telescope is built by consortiums. You see a number of consortiums over here that build the instrumentation. You see the size of a human being for scale. So currently in Chile, they are above ground. So all the foundations for the telescopes are in, and all the metal work are being prepared in the European member states, and will be shipped to Chile very soon. And nearly all budget for this telescope is now into contracts for the industry. However, for the instrumentation, there's about 100 million euros of contract value that still needs to be distributed, but it's not organized through ESO, but through the individual consortium members. So this event is to bring all these partners together, because for the consortia that built these instruments containing optics, mechanical structures, mechanisms, moving parts, vacuum systems, cryogenic systems, so very cold temperatures, electronics and software, and they can benefit from direct contacts with the different companies that offer these technologies in Europe. And also these companies would benefit from a direct contact to the persons that are responsible for the procurement or of their individual bid for these instruments. So first light of this telescope and the instrumentation is expected to be in 2027.
All right, thank you, Ramon. So yeah, I think you covered a lot already of this slide. Again, the idea is to offer to the industry some very specific suppliers. Of course, we are not. This is not about let's say general procurements, but we focus, of course, of very high tech components. And the idea is exactly to identify these suppliers for the labs, and to offer reversely to offer to the suppliers the opportunity to understand and to listen to the demand coming from this instrument engineering and procurement officers. So we have in this venue we have a presentation of the ELT instrument procurement teams. We have a presentation from the ESO officers, those who are responsible to set up the telescope, and to facilitate contacts between these two communities. We organize also a poster session during this day. This is, I think, what we can say about the event, and here's all the information you can get. We have a website, and the meeting, the event is let's say advertised mostly by the ILOs, the ESO ILOs, who are the persons who know the best the supplier network, and who are the most let's say skilled to identify the right suppliers to attend that meeting. Thank you very much. We are open to any questions. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Michel. I have to highlight that organizing this event is complicated because it's usually ESO who organizes the industrial events for ILOs and for industry, but this time it's the ILO network who actually takes care of organizing the event, inviting the institutes, getting ESO involved. So only this is something new. So it's a very valuable approach, I would say. So next up is my colleague from Spain, Eric Fernandez. He's the general manager of INEUSTAR, which is a Spanish industry association in Spain. And he's going to talk about a national event that is going to be organized by his association. So Eric.
Okay. So thank you very much, Javier. I hope you could see my presentation and you could hear me well. Yes, I think that's okay. So
Yeah,
thank you very
all
much for your introduction. So I will try to explain in a brief view our event that we have prepared for the next year. So as you know, in Spain, we have a nice ecosystem for big science industry. So we have research institutes, we have a good number of companies, and also we have some very, very interesting facilities in Spain. We have here, you could see the map of unique scientific and technical infrastructures. Those are infrastructures that have been defined as unique by the Spanish Science and Innovation Ministry, okay? So are infrastructures that are very interesting for the Spanish companies in order to establish early stage collaborations in order to develop technologies that are used in big science. So we are talking here about facilities. Not in the map, there are facilities in many different fields, but our event is focused on three main sectors, which are high energy physics or accelerators, which is also astrophysics and fusion. Okay, and in Spain we have those unique scientific and technical infrastructures, which is the ALBA synchrotron, which is in Catalonia, in Barcelona, the CLPU, which is a pulsed laser infrastructure, which is in Extremadura, in Salamanca, sorry, the underground Canfranc laboratory. Okay, also we have the National Fusion Laboratory with which is managed by CMAT, and there they have an stellator with the TGA2, which is a very nice infrastructure. Also, we have the National Accelerator Center in Andalusia, and we have the network of astrophysics or astronomy infrastructures that luckily we have in Spain a big number of very good astronomic infrastructures. So many of them in Canary Island, as you know, but also we have other observatories in the peninsula. Okay, so our idea is that those infrastructures are now involved in the approval of their strategic plans. Okay, so they have prepared the strategic plans for the next 4 or 5 years, and it is expected that those plans will be approved in the next weeks. So we thought that it could be a nice idea to have an early event in order to spread these strategic plans from the research institutes to the industry. Okay, so that's why okay, you know, we are in a pandemic, post-pandemic, during pandemic, I don't know, in a situation with the COVID in Europe. Okay, so we need to take care in order to organize the event. So we think that it's very useful to have physical events because you have many information that you could obtain in these events. However, we think that it's not a good idea to have massive events in that moment. So that's why we need to find a trade-off. And in this trade-off or this balance situation, what we define is an event that could be hosted in 2 different places. It will be a single event in 2 places in a coordinated and simultaneous way. Okay, and the presentations will be held in the different situations. So some of them will be held in that case, we are thinking in 2 locations, in in Barcelona and Madrid, and some presentations will be held in Barcelona and will be followed in streaming in Madrid, and the other one will be held in Madrid and could be followed in Barcelona. Okay, this is something different that we have never done in Spain, and we hope that we will have the collaboration of the Spanish Science Industry Association in EUSTAR, the technological platform of science industry, which is Induciencia, and also for sure we will have the support from CDTI. Okay, and also the event will have presentation. We have a discussion after that, and also we will facilitate the B2B meetings that could be also physical or online. Okay, and very fastly, the objectives are boost the industry academia collaboration from early stages. So we have seen, or we have been discussing in some ENRIITC events, that one of the barriers or one of the things that we need to boost is the early stages mutual knowledge between industry and academia. So that's why we find that the approval of those strategic plans is a nice early stage of those technology developments. Also, we will explore this hybridization of multi-host events as a standard for the next months, years. I don't know how many times we will be dealing with this situation, but I think it's a good trade-off between presential and not massive events. And also we will assess the functionalities for other international events. Okay, this will be a Spanish one, but we think that the lessons we could learn will be applied for events at other level. Also, for sure, we will minimize the unnecessary displacement, maximize the participation, because many people is not traveling in this situation, and also reduce the carbon blueprint, because those displacements that are not necessary will not be taking place. Okay, and also we will have the objective to engage the participation of companies outside the big science sector. Okay, so we have very clear the companies that are participating in scientific facilities, design, construction of instrument systems, and so on in Spain, but we think that there are many other companies with very nice capabilities that could be applied, but they don't know those possibilities. So we will focus also in the participation of companies from other sectors, especially companies from aerospace, automotive, railway, and digital sector. So that's all, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you for your presentation. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how this hybrid way of organizing these conferences work. And also I support that it's a need in Spain to have this centralized information from all these national infrastructures to industry. Otherwise, it's too complicated for industry to contact each of them separately. So yes, a very valuable event. And now finally, we have Pauline Aldergon, who is the project manager at Instruct, Eric, and she's going to talk about the event organized by Instruct, Structural Biology Services for Industry.
Yes, thanks for allowing us to talk today. So yeah, we will present the pilot event that we are organizing within Instruct, Eric, in which we are trying to target our industry users. So this event should take place in March 2022, and we will organize it virtually. So first, a few words about who we are. Instruct is the research infrastructure for structural biology research in Europe. So what we are offering our users is mostly access to our services and technologies, but we are also offering a very broad range of other services, such as training courses, internships, or even some funding for R&D pilot projects for early career researchers. So Instruct is a federated research infrastructure. We actually have 15 members within Europe, and in these member countries, we have several centers and facilities that are open for access to scientists worldwide, but more specifically in Europe. But now focusing a bit on why we are here today, which is talking about our relationship with industry. So structural biology techniques have really key application in many sectors, such as health and pharma. It's very important for example, drug discovery or the development of new vaccines, as we have seen during the COVID-19 pandemics. It's really also key techniques in the world of food sectors or biomaterials. And Instruct is really striving to get a better connection with our industry users from these sectors that would really benefit of accessing our services, but that at the moment we are a bit struggling to target. So we decided to take the opportunity of this ENRIITC call to build and try to make a pilot event, developing a new strategy to try to target these industry users and gain more visibility in the private sector. So the aim of this event is really to inform our industry partners of what services and technologies we are offering, what expertise we have that might be of interest for them, and also try to build a federated strategy within Instruct to reach our industry users. So the program of the event should be as such. We are planning on having a first plenary session that will basically be an introduction of who we are and what we are offering within Instruct in terms of access, training, workshops, expertise. And we will, of course, give a focus on the Instruct access for industrial users. And we will also invite 3 of our current industry users to talk about case studies and give a testimonials about what has been their experience in using our services and how it can be beneficial for other industry partners. Then we will have a second session that will focus more on some key services that we are offering and that can be of special interest, especially for industries. So we will organize it in different breakouts. It will be 2 or 3 breakouts with a focus on one of them will be about NMR techniques for industry. The other one will be cryo-EM, and we'll probably have a third breakout session about sample preparation. And then we also wanted to include in a pilot event some sort of interactive session. And we are aware that it's something that is a bit difficult to have, especially in virtual events. But we still thought that we would give it a go. And we heard about these flash meetings that could be of interest. So what we will organize is to give the possibility of our Instruct participants in advance before the meeting to actually book 5 to 10 minute slots with key Instruct experts of their choice. And they will be able to have a very short chat with these experts and talk about what they are trying to achieve and see where and how we can actually support them with their project. Now, the key to our success with this pilot event, I guess, is really trying to see if we are managing well with the dissemination of the event. So if we are managing to target our industry users, and then during the event itself, see if we are managing to raise interest with these users about what we are offering and show them that we can really help them with what they are doing. So for the dissemination part, we decided to give it a try to new tools that we are not used to use in our outreach usually. So we know that quite a lot of industries are using quite a bit of LinkedIn. So we will try the advertising campaign of LinkedIn and Twitter and see if we are managing to gain some visibility using those tools. We will, of course, as well use the ENRIITC network. We already have a pool of industry partners that we will, of course, target for dissemination purposes. And as I mentioned, we are federated research infrastructures, and some of our centers already have industry liaison with whom we will communicate and will disseminate information using these different centers and their connection. And finally, we also have a pilot project that is called iNext Discovery. That is a partner European project, and we'll use the network as well to disseminate about this event. And I guess that's all about us. That's the idea that we have at the moment for the organization of this event. And if you have any suggestions or comments, we are happy to take it.
Thank you, Pauline. I think I also agree that this event is also very much aligned with ENRIITC, trying to increase collaborations with industry and your organization. There's also some experience using these social media and these campaigns, so maybe ENRIITC can support here. And thank you for your presentation. So Madison, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you all. So we seem to have run over our time, so unfortunately we won't have any time for the Q&A, but there's no worries. We have our private LinkedIn group page, which you can access here. I just put in the chat. So if you have any questions for the organizers of the events, you can put your questions in our group, or you can send your questions to the ENRIITC mailbox and we'll put you in contact with the speakers. So thank you very much for everyone who joined and all the speakers for the time you put through your presentations, and we'll see. Join us, we'll have Vinova speaking, and it'll be about how Vinova links industry with expert users. So thank you very much, and I hope everyone has a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Ciao.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.